Okay, so you use this thing every single day, but I'm willing to bet you've never heard of it. It's this hidden engine, kind of working behind the scenes, powering all the search and recommendation features in your favorite apps. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on FAISS, the true unsung hero of modern vector search.
I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about it? How does your music app just know the perfect song to play next? Or how does a shopping site show you a bunch of shirts that look weirdly similar to the one you just looked at? Even your phone. How does it find every single picture of your dog in a library with thousands of photos? How does that work? Well, the secret is that these AI systems are basically incredible translators. They take stuff we get, images, songs, text, and they convert it all into a kind of numerical fingerprint. It's called a high-dimensional vector. Just think of it as a really, really long list of numbers that captures the absolute essence of that thing. So finding similar stuff, it just becomes a math problem, finding the fingerprints that are closest to each other in this huge virtual space.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to uncover this invisible engine that makes it all happen. Then, we'll talk about a really crucial distinction, why this thing is a toolkit, not a database. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of speed versus accuracy. And finally, we'll see how this one piece of tech is basically holding up the entire modern AI stack.
All right, so let's jump right into that big question. What is this invisible engine? What is this technology that's become so essential for digging through billions of these super complex numerical fingerprints in, like, the blink of an eye? Well, it's called FAISS. That stands for Facebook AI Similarity Search. At its heart, it's a super optimized library written in C++ with connections to Python, and it's built to do one very specific job: find the most similar vectors in a gigantic pile of them, and do it ridiculously fast.
And FAISS isn't brand new. It was actually launched way back in 2017 by Facebook's AI research team. They built it to solve their own, frankly, enormous scaling problems. But since then, it's pretty much become the foundational backbone for countless recommendation engines and retrieval systems. It's basically an industry standard now.
Okay, this brings us to probably the most important thing to get about FAISS, and it's something that trips a lot of people up. It is not a ready-to-use database. It's way more fundamental than that. You got to think of it as a toolkit, not a finished product.
Here's the best analogy, I think. A vector database you might have heard of, like Milvus or Qdrant, that's the complete car, right? It's got the engine, the wheels, the seats, and API. It's ready to go. FAISS, on the other hand, is just the high-performance engine. It doesn't care about managing data or APIs or any of that. It just does one thing, that's similarity search, and it does it exceptionally well.
So the whole idea, the big takeaway here, is control. When you use FAISS, you're not just plugging something in. No, you're the mechanic. You're the one getting your hands dirty, choosing the exact algorithms, and building and tuning your own search index from scratch to perfectly fit whatever you need.
And, well, having that much control means you, the developer, have to make a really critical decision. It's this fundamental trade-off that's at the heart of any big search system. You have to find that balance between speed and getting a perfect result every single time.
When you're building a system with FAISS, you're constantly in this balancing act between three things: how fast the search is, how much memory it's using, and how accurate the results are. And here's the catch: you can't have it all. You can't maximize all three at once. You have to pick what's most important.
So for example, let's say you need 100% absolutely perfect accuracy. You can use something called a flat index. This is just the brute force way. It literally takes your query and compares it one by one to every single other vector in your entire dataset. It will always give you the right answer, but for billions of items, it is incredibly slow. But for most apps in the real world, you don't actually need perfect. Good enough is, well, good enough. And that's where FAISS really shines. It offers these advanced indexes like IVF and HNSW. They use what are called approximate nearest neighbor search algorithms. And that word approximate is key. They use these incredibly clever shortcuts so they don't have to search everything. You might give up a tiny fraction of a percent in accuracy, but what you get back is a search that is thousands, maybe even millions of times faster. It's a no-brainer.
So we've got this powerful, super flexible toolkit that's all about making smart trade-offs. Now let's zoom out a bit and see where it actually fits into the whole AI world. And it turns out it's pretty much everywhere.
And this is where you see the true impact of FAISS. A lot of those popular, easy-to-use vector databases that developers love, yep, they're actually using FAISS under the hood. It really is the engine behind the engine, powering all sorts of applications in semantic search, recommendation systems, and image matching platforms that we all just take for granted.
You can feel its impact all over the place. In e-commerce, it's the thing finding you the next product you're totally going to love. In AI research, it's what lets scientists run these massive experiments on huge data sets. And in media, it's helping you find that one specific scene in a video or that one image from a giant archive.
You know, in the end, this one quote really just sums it all up perfectly. FAISS isn't the database you interact with. It's the battle-tested, high-performance, foundational part that makes the whole thing possible. So the next time an app shows you something that's just uncannily relevant, you can stop and wonder, is that the unsung hero, FAISS, working its magic behind the scenes?